In under 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you exactly how to use ArchiCAD 29, even if you've never opened the software before. What's going on, team? My name's David Tomic. I'm a registered architect here in Western Australia, and I've been using ArchiCAD for over a decade. So I think I'm qualified to talk about this today. Let's start by opening up ArchiCAD 29. And generically, you're going to see something like this. There's a couple of things that I'll point out. First of all, we're using the Ultimate ArchiCAD template, which is available through Patreon down below. So a few things might look a little bit different to you, but the premise is exactly the same. Secondly, if your work environment is different, you can grab it completely for free off my website. Just come to ArchiCAD Work Environment, download it, read the installer notes, and drop it in. It's very self-explanatory. Again, link down below if you want to make sure you're using everything that I'm using. But you don't need it. You can follow along this tutorial with the student version, the free version, whatever you have available to you. Next point of housekeeping is obviously we're using the Mac Studio today for this tutorial. Besides me, I have a fully built custom PC that we use for rendering when we complete our ArchiCAD models. So you can run this again on Mac or Windows, completely up to you. Let's start with the basics. You've just loaded ArchiCAD 29. It looks something like this. It's blank, there's nothing going on, and you're completely lost. That's okay. Let's run through the UI. On the left-hand side, you have your 3D and your 2D objects. So if you hover over them, it'll give you the wall tool. And if you hover a little bit longer, it'll tell you exactly how to use it. We have slabs, wall end tools, windows, everything we need for 3D modeling at the top. And underneath, then we have our 2D documentation, for example, dimensions, text, fill, basic lines, sections, and elevations. So these are the panels we're going to use a lot. Up the top, we have a whole bunch of customizable toolbars that allow us to do quicker shortcuts. But again, this is getting a bit ahead of ourselves, so I won't dive into that too much. Finally, on the right-hand side, you have your view maps and your layout books. To quickly run through the concept, the project map is where you create all of your pages. The view map is where you will actually work. The layout book is, well, our layouts. So your A1, A2 sheets and everything in between. And then finally, you have your organizer, which is how we can export our drawings out of ArchiCAD. In my view map, I've set up all of the proper pages from existing, demolition to proposed, so it's quick and easy to access. If you're following along, just simply double click on ground floor proposed, or any ground floor for that matter, it doesn't matter. After that, we want to start by pressing Command 7. That's going to open up our story settings. If you're a Windows, that's Control 7. My story settings are set up like this, minus 172. That's allowing for a concrete slab on ground. Generally speaking, that's the most common here in Australia. Edge thickenings, not a waffle slab or anything like that. Then we have our ground floor at 2.7. 2.7, again, very standard here in Australia. You can adjust this to whatever height you want your ceilings on your ground floor. You just simply go into the text box on the right hand side and change it to 3 meters, for instance, and everything else will update automatically. So let's just change that back to 2.7. For my ground ceiling, this is where I'm going to annotate everything on my ceiling plate and also my structure in between floors. In this scenario, 232, I'm going to be using some posi trusses so that I have the freedom to run my mechanical services through it. Now, that's just a design choice. You can change that to 257 for spanded concrete, whatever your heart desires. First floor, 3045. It's probably a little high. Let's drop that to 27. And finally, we have 300 mil to the next floor being our first ceiling / roof because I'm intending to use a 300 millimeter truss roof. Now, all of these are way too complicated for a beginner, so all you need to really know is just copy and paste these heights, and everything will work out for you later on. Press OK after you're finished. Once you've adjusted your story settings, it's always best just to double click on the ground floor proposed so you automatically jump back to your plan. Let's start by drawing some walls. So come across to the left-hand panel. Very first icon on the top left is a wall. Once you've clicked on it, a new panel will automatically appear. Now, depending on your view map, it could appear here on the left, it could be up top, it could be a pop-out window, but regardless, it's going to appear. The first thing we want to be acutely aware of is our layers. So if you've ever used Photoshop, it works exactly the same way. You turn layers on and off and you get rid of things from different views. In the Ultimate ArchiCAD template, I've set up all of my layers the way I work and the way I found works in practice. If you're using the standard ArchiCAD template, you're just going to have a bunch of different layers that are called different things. Completely okay. For the purpose of this, we want these walls to go on walls external. Just click OK. After that, we have our geometry method. The first allows us to click once, spin around until we're happy, and then click again to finish our wall. If we press and hold on the button, we can change to a polygon line, which allows us to click multiple times and then double click to finish. After that, we have our structure. So if we open up our wall structure, once again, we'll see I have a series of different walls created from existing timber, brick, block, concrete, etc. There's so many custom walls created in this, it's not funny. Yours will definitely look a little different to this, but again, that's okay. Just pick any wall for the purposes of this training. Let's go to brick walls to keep things super simple. We're going to pick a double cavity brick wall, render and plaster. So render on the outside, plaster on the inside, done. After that, we have a couple extra settings that I'm going to get into in a different window. So let's zoom into this little cross, which is our 0, 0, 0 point in ArchiCAD. This point allows us to communicate with other software. So we want to make sure we're kind of starting our project from 0 if we can. If we click on that X once, it's going to start drawing our wall. Now, obviously we can draw a wall that's crooked on any angle, or we can draw it straight with the help of the grid lines. Alternatively, we can hold the shift button, and once you're holding shift, it'll only allow you to move that wall in increments of 15 degrees. So click once, click again to finish the wall. Press escape when we're finished with that component. So now we have 3 walls on our drawing and we don't want 2 of them. To get rid of them, click once, drag all the way across, highlight the 2 that you don't want, press delete, gone, simple. If for whatever reason you've clicked once and you don't see the square in the top left-hand corner, you're going to just have to simply change your geometry to the middle one. So arrow with your geometry methods, rectangle, away you go. Now that we've drawn our first wall, let's have a look at what we've done, because in ArchiCAD, everything's basically 3D. So right click, show all in 3D, and then it'll open up your 3D window automatically. You can zoom in using your scroll bar, hold shift and the scroll bar to pan around, hold shift and the scroll bar to orbit around, or press the scroll bar to pan. If you're somewhere far away, let's say you don't know where your model is, you can just double click the scroll bar and it will automatically take you to what you've modeled. Now, for whatever reason, I've drawn a low wall that's tiled with blue mosaic tiles. That's not what I want. So let's click Command T. Command T will open up your settings for everything in ArchiCAD once you've selected an object or a component. And this is generally the same across pretty much everything until we get to objects. So we've already talked about the wall structure system here, which is the brick wall. Then there's a couple settings down below that we don't really need to get into, but it's if you want slanted walls or adjusted walls. They're not overly critical as a beginner, just keep them as they're set to default. If we want to link our walls, this makes it super easy later on, so we don't have to adjust every single wall individually. If we just go top linked to ground ceiling and then press 0 for that top number, it'll automatically make my wall to 7, which is what we did in our story settings. If we changed our story settings to 3, it would automatically rise to 3. I suggest as a beginner, keeping it linked wherever possible. If you can't, just go not linked and type in whatever number you want. The floor plan display settings, again, just forget about them as a beginner. We'll come back to that in another tutorial. We can jump straight to the model override. Now, this is obviously a brick wall that's rendered and plastered and it's set up completely correct. But because I've got model overrides, it's showing everything as blue tiles. If I simply untick those and press OK, my wall changes. We have plaster on the inside, brick on the inside that's visible, and then render on the outside, which is exactly what we'd expect from that wall composition. But obviously Command T, if we just want to override one side, that goes blue mosaic tiles instead of plaster. To undo, Control Z, Command Z, whatever system you're on. That's basically all you need to know about the wall structure settings. After that, we can come back to our ground floor, press the Option button or Alt button on your keyboard, and you'll see a little syringe tool open up. This is basically a sucker tool that copies and pastes the properties of whatever you're selecting so you can redraw it without having to set up all the settings all over again. So we just simply press Option, click on the wall, and then we can continue to draw more walls. Now, let's say for whatever reason, you don't want the wall to be this way, you want it to be the other way. You can simply tap the F button on your keyboard for flip, and it'll flip it back and forward like a mirror. Now, for argument, let's just draw a big rectangle. We'll see that ArchiCAD automatically gives us grid lines showing us that that's exactly 90 degrees to that wall. Finish it off, click again, and we have our rectangle. To create some architectural flair, click on this corner, drag it out. Let's say we want to now, instead of just clicking randomly at a random number, we actually want to make this wall the right length. Well, you'll see this distance pops up, and if you try to catch it, it just runs away. So what we want to do is either press Tab to automatically jump into the distance settings, or we can just simply start typing. So mine's set up in millimeters. if I type in 1200, press enter, that's 1.2 meters along that wall. After that, I can repeat the steps. Let's go, I want 4 meters here. I want to tie that back in, done. When I'm finished, press escape, come back into my 3D window up the top, and you can see we've created something a little bit nicer. Now, let's say we want a slab for this building. We need something for it to sit on. Typically in ArchiCAD, you always draw your walls first and then you draw your slab so you don't have to adjust it. We can either come across to our footings layer or press Command Control down, whichever system you're on, or up. That takes us up and down in our story settings. So we press down, we're at our footings level, but we have no idea where our walls are. How do we figure it out? Simple. Right click our ground floor, show as trace reference, and it will show you exactly where all the walls are. Now, my trace reference palette is missing. So what do? We come up to Window, Palettes, scroll down until you get to Trace and Reference and press OK. A little pop-up window will appear. I like to drag it all the way across until it goes gray and snap it to the top of my view map. So now I can simply toggle it on and off whenever I need it, adjust the opacity of the walls, adjust the active layer, change the color, do whatever I need through this palette, which is an incredibly versatile tool. If for whatever reason you can't see the walls below because you have a PDF thrown in, just toggle through these settings and see if it helps. Now, let's get back to the point where we actually started. We want to draw a slab. How do we do that? We come across to our slab tool, click slab. We can start by opening our palette straight away, Command T. You can either use a generic shell or you can use custom structures and compositions. So I'll go to my compositions, go to my slab, concrete on ground. Let's just go 100 mil with a vapor barrier below. Again, this is in my custom template through Patreon, not really available through the standard ArchiCAD template. You just go to the basic composition and type in the height that you need it to be. This is set at 337 above ground. We'll just go 0 because we want it to be for now, and we'll adjust it in 3D. After that, again, let's just turn off our model override because it's set up correctly. Pressing OK. 2 ways to go about this. We can come across to the geometry, select our polygon line, and simply click around our walls until we find our way all the way to the end. And there we go. We have our slab, which is created and blue for whatever reason. It shouldn't be. So let's just change these settings to the correct lines, how it should be set up. Press OK. And there we go. Now we have our slab. Option 2, if we select that slab, hold the option button, click on it to suck the properties across. We can delete it. And then we can press our space bar, hover over the edge of our building so it matches the perimeter. If for whatever reason it doesn't find it automatically, just tap through the tab button until it finds what you're looking for and click once. It will automatically create that entire shape, saving you so much time. That magic wand is available with a lot of tools, so make sure you just try the magic wand button by holding space. Now, let's go back to 3D and see what we've created. We've created that slab, which is a little low, but super simple. Command D or Control D allows you to move objects up and down. Alternatively, you can click on one of these black nodes, find your little palette, and then go to the drag tool. That just allows you to drag it wherever you want. So if I want it over here, it's now there. Undo, Control Command D, lift it up, 0, 0. There we go. Now we have our slab created and our walls created in a matter of minutes. Let's go back to our footings. Command up brings you back to the ground level. We probably want to throw some windows in. Super simple. Window tool. Open up the settings and you have all the standard ArchiCAD windows. For me personally, again, being my library, I'll just come across to favorites, openings, windows, basic, DT fixed frames, and then press OK. Mine are all set up, ready to go. Click once on the wall and it will automatically drop that window in. Next, you just want to tell it really where the sun is and where the openings are. So for me, super simple, sun on the outside, openings don't matter in this case. Just like the slab, Command D, click on one of the nodes, allows us to move it across. Come into 3D. That window is obviously massive and at the wrong height. How do we change it? Super, super simple. Click on the window, click on one of the black nodes, and then we have our width, stretch horizontally and stretch vertically buttons. So let's start by stretch vertically, drop it down, start at the top, drop it down. There we go. We have a full fixed panel window. If we go Command T, the options are a little bit different in an object. You have a menu, which you can toggle through and work your way through the settings. They're all relatively self-explanatory. I won't dive too much into them, but if you need to change something, for example, the size of the window, the style of the window, if it's an opening, fixed, tilt, turn, whatever, you're going to find it in the settings. So whatever you're looking for in ArchiCAD, look in settings and you'll find it. If I wanted to simply drag that all the way across, I could. It would be super unrealistic because, one window is never going to be that large. So let's just delete that. come back into our floor plan, select the window, press Command D or Control D, and then you'd start to move it. But in this case, we want to press the Option button once, which allows us to copy it once, and then click again, and that copy is done. If we go Command D and then press Command and Option, you'll see two pluses appear on my screen. This now means I can click at the end of the window and keep clicking until I'm happy, and then press Escape to finish. We can either adjust this window back, or we can select all of our walls, which there's a number of ways to do that. We can either click on it once, hold Shift, click the next one and repeat until we've selected all our walls. Or because we drew this as one object, we can select one wall, two walls, doesn't matter. Press Option G and it will automatically select all the walls we've drawn together. If you want to group particular objects together, select them all at once and then press Command G and it will group them so you can use that trick later in the future. So once again, if you don't want to select them as a group, Option G again, it'll take that setting off. Now, we want to extend this wall. There's so many ways to do it. We can extend it, draw it one by one, or we can select everything. Make sure we turn off our grouping setting so that once we click on this blue line, we have the offset tool available to us. And then we can just drag it all the way out until we're happy. Now, again, we can do that perfectly. We can adjust it. We can change it. Completely up to you how you do it. If you wanted to measure what the gap is between the window and this funny bit here so you could perfectly align it, just press M on your keyboard for measure, click at the edge of the wall, zoom in, and it will tell you it's 11 mil. So escape, come back across to the blue line, and then just type in 11, press OK, and it will perfectly align that wall for you. Back to 3D, and we'll see we have a big glass box ready to go. Internal walls work exactly the same as external walls. Just simply make sure you change the wall layer from external to internal, change your wall type to whatever you need, single brick, draw a wall, double click, finished. Doors, again, work the same as windows. We come into our door tool up top, Command T, go through the basic ArchiCAD doors, or select one of my custom doors from the ArchiCAD template, click OK, drop it in, done. Objects, on the other hand, are slightly different. We want to come into this little chair tool and then go Command T and open something up. Let's say we're looking for a toilet. We can just type in toilet and it will give you everything available in your library. Once again, I've got so many extra libraries loaded in this that you may not have what's available to me unless you're running the Ultimate ArchiCAD template. You'll probably just see the water closet and the water closet corner available to you. So let's just use that for argument's sake. Otherwise, I'd generally be using something like this Clark round, or I'd type in ABI and use something like this floating toilet. Regardless, whatever you use, go through the settings, set it up how you're happy, make sure the layer is correct. So for me, that's a plumbing item, press OK, drop it in, done. You now have a toilet fully made in 3D, floating in the middle of your project, which you can obviously adjust as you need to. And that door on the back side that we created in a matter of seconds. If you wanted that door to be open, for instance, open it up, Command T, go to opening type and angle, 3D view, 0, change it to 90 degrees, open. Super simple. Command undo, Control Z, and we can move forward. You can repeat literally the same thing for toilets. So if we did Command D, we can move it around. Command D plus the Option button allows us to copy it. If we have one object, we can go Command T to open up the settings. Let's just type in shower as an example. Whole bunch of shower head options. Again, they're my custom template. You'll see only the ArchiCAD ones, which is shower cabin, for instance. But you could just drop the shower cabin in and it will change the object for you. Last but not least, on the modeling face, we have our roof tool. So we just click on our roof and then we have two options. We have a single skillion geometry, which allows us to create individual panes, or we have a hip and valley geometry, which will automatically create the roof for us. So for this argument, let's click on the second button, go to the polygonal line. Once again, we can tap around the entire thing, or we can hold Shift, completely up to you guys. Let's just tap so it creates a bit of a different style. Go back to our floor plan and you'll see it's drawn on the wrong layer. And now I did that on purpose. If we draw anything on the wrong layer, Command T, we don't have to redraw it. We just go home story, change to first floor, press OK, and it will automatically move it to the top. Now, if you didn't want that roof, delete it. Go back to our ground floor plan. Let's go Command up. Let's draw 4 walls around the full perimeter. Command T, happy with the height at 333. Let's check it out. Maybe we increase that height by another 300, press OK. We have a 600 high. Go to our ground ceiling, go to our roof, single plane. This time, let's start at the back. Make sure we draw our pitching point correct, which as a beginner, you don't have to worry about. Click the way you want the roof to go up. And then we can change to square formats, polygon lines, whatever we need, draw a square, go back to 3D, and we have our roof from the back end. Now, obviously that pitch is way too high. So Command T, and we can just change our pitch in this top right-hand corner. Let's just go 2 degrees, which again might still be a little too high. Let's change that to 1 degree. Problem solved. Now your roof is completely hidden behind the parapet at the front fascia, but we have this awkward problem here. One wall we increased and the other wall we didn't. We could go and open up our settings, type in 300 and repeat the steps, or we could press Option, click on the original wall, and then press Option and Command at the same time, and you'll see the syringe goes from a little sucker to an actual syringe. Then we click on our wall and it will automatically copy and paste the properties from what we sucked to the new object itself. And you can repeat that as many times as you want. Now we have all 3 of our parapets the same height. Now, if we want to change the materials, there's 2 ways. One, we actually model it properly, change the walls, go to timber, add cladding, etc., etc. But if you're a beginner and literally just want a model to look nice, Command T, override the settings, type in wood, for example, whatever wood you have available to you and you think looks nice, press OK, and your model is now a different color. Personally, I hate this construction grid, by the way. So if you just go View, Editing Plane, it'll disappear and then you don't have to worry about it. Similarly, I go View and turn off my construction grid because I don't like either of those two, but they're just personal preference. Now we have a building. We can go back to our ground floor proposed, come across to our mesh tool, which is this wibbly wobbly blanket looking thing. Make sure it's on the right layer. If for whatever reason your layer is hidden, it's not going to show on that particular plan, but you still want to draw it, just go Show Layer for argument's sake. Draw a big box, come back into 3D. And if it's missing, we go Command L, opens up all of your layers. So that if we scroll down to Site Mesh FGL, which is the layer that we just created on, and press OK, we'll see we've drawn some grass and we have our building in the middle of a paddock. To finish this off, obviously dimensions down below, click, 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 right click, OK, drag them out and it will draw dimensions for you. If you want text, click once, click second time to create the actual text box. Type in your text, press off the text box and it will create it. The fill, if you want a drafting fill, cut fill, cover fill, doesn't matter. We've got so many options, just run through them. Let's say we want a grid, 600 by 1200 running bond, for whatever reason, that's all tiled, done, finished, 2D drawn. And that's generally the premise of what you need to know in ArchiCAD as a beginner. Most of what I've shown you today, you'll be able to replicate to further document interior walls, rooms, openings, everything you need. So just keep following the same steps until you've developed the project as far as you need to and you're happy to move on to the next tutorial. Anyway, that's all from me, team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. And like always, I'll see you next week.